I'm Tony Buffin with Human Cloud, and we are here live at SIA's CollaborationX conference, and I'm with Grady Gardner, the GM of Braintrust.
Yes, sir.
It's so great. We just met the other day, but I've known Braintrust for quite a while for the talent marketplace. Tell me, just how's it going, the whole talent marketplace world, and how's Braintrust?
Yeah, thanks for having me, man. It's been a ride.
Yeah.
We started off life as a talent marketplace in 2018. Really got launched in like 2020 out of the gates.
Good time.
Grew wildly
fast.
Like 0 to 100 million equivalent staffing firm in like 2 years, with
amazing.
like 15 employees. Right. So like it was nuts. Like couldn't keep up with the orders fast enough. It was also like the crave of hiring as many software developers as you could in 2021, 22, which is what we were selling. And then about 2 years ago, we started to basically hone in on something else that we thought we were pretty good at, which was like screening those developers. Mm-hmm. And so when we were building the marketplace, we were getting 100,000 people a month applying to get in.
A month.
Yeah. And like our customers are mostly Fortune 2000. So like their expectation is everybody's vetted. This isn't like an Upwork scenario. Yeah. I'm hiring these people for like long-term jobs. And we basically went out to market trying to figure out like what are all the assessment tools, screening tools out there, coding assessments, whatever, and couldn't find anything that would like, one, help us get through that volume fast and do it accurately. And so, about 2 years ago, we started hacking together some solutions, early voice models, some GPTs, video recordings. And then about a year and a half ago, realized we'd built something pretty sweet within our marketplace, which was our AI interview product. And then the last 18 months, we basically split it out of the marketplace, product set number 2. And we've basically gone back to all of our, large Fortune companies and started saying, hey, why don't you bolt this onto your ATS and screen people like we screen them? You love how we screen your talent. Why don't you just screen them yourself using our own product?
Yeah, how awesome for that to evolve out of meeting the need, because the need is for speed when it comes to finding
and
talent,
accuracy,
quality, and accuracy.
Yeah.
And then realizing, hey, this is something that can be deployed on its own. Tell me a little bit more. What is it called, and how are you guys using it? What does it do?
Yeah, so we've got our main 2 like talent acquisition product sets now are the marketplace, so you can still pick up great software developers for us really inexpensively. And then the second big product is now called Braintrust AIR for AI Recruiter. It's really centered on like the assessment part, so the evaluating the person's skills and experience. And it's not like pre-screening, it's not like asking, are you a U.S. citizen or do you have, need work sponsorship? It's like really trying to dive into what's this person's skills, what's their actual background, and then assessing them based on can they do the job, with the idea that it can speed up, top of funnel pretty quickly for a lot of these companies.
This evolved out of looking for developers, software engineers, but is AIR focus on just that, or does it have a broader applicability?
So it's awesome for technical hiring. However, technical hiring is down across the board. So we started to open the aperture, and it is awesome for non-technical. So think like light industrial, retail, manufacturing, call centers, anything that's like high volume, oftentimes like low retention or high turnover for employees. Like it is fantastic for getting through the volume quick.
So what's the experience like? If I'm a candidate,
you should do one, by the way.
I should.
Yeah, it's awesome. What's fun on my end is, so we're using some badass LLMs to do it. They are constantly upgrading. The voice modules are insane. Every time we fire this thing up, it's just like doing a Zoom call. So like, you fire it up, you're not looking at like a creepy avatar that's like trying to talk to you or anything, but like, it's, a nice screen, makes it clear, like when you're talking, when it's listening, those type of things. Put some text on the screen too. So if, it cuts out or something for some reason, you can still read it and respond. But it's just a live conversation, ask you an opening question, tell me about this, or, what's your experience with this particular thing? And then whatever you respond with, it's going to dive into that response, which makes it so much more natural for candidates.
Yeah, it's not just question, answer.
Right, move on.
It's going to deep dive, or it's going to follow up.
Yeah, I mean, all the legacy video interviewing stuff everyone hates, right? It's like, you got 2 minutes to record this answer, and then you just like brain dump and you like black out, and then you're like, what the hell did I just say? And you're like kind of stressed out the entire time. This is not that. It's like meant to, like the 2 things we cared about when we were building it for ourselves was, one, our talent is our most valuable asset in the marketplace, right? So we're like, we can't piss them off. We got to make it really nice experience. We got to like make it feel very natural and like drop the anxiety bar basically of doing those things. Because all the friction in the other assessment products we were looking at was just too high. Like these software developers are like, screw that. I'm not doing a coding test. I'm not doing this video terrible recording thing. And so our whole lens was like, let's make this easy for the candidates and like feel really comfortable. So that's where we spent, the first 6 months was just on the candidate side. And then we flipped it over to, okay, now let's make this thing like really, really accurate and customizable on what you're assessing.
So it's easy for the candidates, which I think is critical, or they won't do it.
Yeah, there's no app. There's no like forms to fill out. It's like quite literally like, hey, you've been invited to this quick video interview, and you sell it to them as a company, right? Hey, you can go the traditional route, wait for an interview with one of my recruiters. Probably 2% chance you're going to get one, or jump right into this thing right now. Do it anytime you want.
Time, whenever you're ready.
Right now. Yeah. And you'll be done with it. And guess what? You're going to go to the front of the line with somebody actually looking at it.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, so then that person looking at it.
Yeah.
What's their experience like? Is this also an easy button experience for the enterprise that's doing the
screening?
So
what we found is like, you got to be, because it's, using AI to evaluate candidates, and there is a numeric score in there based on whatever customization they want. So we set it up where, one, it'll create the whole interview for you just based on a job description. So if you hit the easy button as a recruiter, you could quite literally say, all right, start inviting candidates. You're good to go. No customization, let it rip. And it's like 95% awesome, and probably better than most interviews would be just on that. We let them set up any kind of customization they want, questions, criteria. Hey, what do you want to, take a look at this person for? We're usually like, align with the hiring team. What do they care about in that person? And have it assess their skills and experience on that. And then they get a beautiful scorecard back. They get a ping every time someone completes one. Like, these guys will set one live overnight. Come back in the morning, they have about 60 interviews completed.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
all in a dashboard, right?
All in a dashboard.
Folks that we talked to, here are recommendations.
Exactly. Here's how they did on each of the grading criteria you have, with a very detailed explanation of why it scored them that way. So we're all about trying to get accurate, and accuracy for us is this evaluating them the same as one of the recruiters would, right? And if there's any deviation from that, so for instance, if candidates that are scoring really high are getting rejected for some reason, there must be something off.
Yeah.
Right. It's usually something minor. Oh, they weren't in the right location, didn't have a car, or whatever it might be. And we're like, cool, let's add that to the criteria so that it's scoring much like you would.
That's a good point, because then real time you can be making these adjustments.
And all the links are already in the field.
Yeah.
So 5 people come in, you realize, oh my gosh, we asked the wrong questions, or I forgot to add something, or oh, my hiring manager really cares about this one thing. Add it in real time. All the links out there are still ready to go. They're just updated. It keeps going.
I love that. I just had this PTSD from all my time in HR when you start the process and your hiring manager all of a sudden is starting to shift the goalposts.
Oh, big time.
So your ability to go in, be like, okay, let's do this real time. Let's get this right without having to start all over. That's got to, for any recruiter or HR person out there, it's got to feel like, okay, this is speaking my language.
Well, think about this. We built it for developers and designers, right? And so you get a JD as a developer, and it's like 15 different technologies and you're like, what the hell am I interviewing for? What am I even doing here? Like, you start talking to them, and then you get to the, hiring team, and they're like, I just care about this one thing. And you're like, oh, well, then we should have just been asking about that one thing. I can't go back to the 15 people. What are we doing here? So you can just make quick adjustments on the fly. And we always try and make them as short as possible. Nice. Just what you care about, right? Like, you don't need to ask 15 questions of these guys, but ask them 1 or 2 or 3 really deep ones, and then have it do all the follow-ups back and forth. Nice experience, and you get a good grade.
That's great. So when I think of AI, and I think we talked about this yesterday, there's probably like 10 AI recruiting companies.
Totally. Yeah.
Tell us about your differentiation, your moat, because it feels like everybody's trying to do the same thing, or everybody's trying to be everything in terms of a digital recruiter. But I like that you kind of carved out specifically what your value proposition is.
Yeah, I think, it tells you it's a good use case for AI if there's a company that is popping up every single day. Like, our investors send me like 10 companies a week. Hey, have you checked it? No, I haven't checked them out. They're brand new. It's like 2 dudes that have like $50 that are like trying to build a company. I get it. It's a good use case. I would say the big things that it's really hard. We were running high volume, but now that we're selling it externally as software, we're running at like wildly high volume. As far as interviews happening simultaneously all over the world. And I think just the infrastructure layer has been like one of the hardest things. Like, obviously candidate experience, and is it a great recruiter experience, top priority. Sure. But when you think about how do I run, 10,000 interviews simultaneously in 150 countries in 15 languages, and it's got to take the candidate responses, record them, create a response, run it through a voice module, and get back to them in a third of a second all over the world. Like, you have to care about where your servers are. You have to care about latency, and the second it pauses for 3 seconds to think, the candidate's pissed.
Yeah.
And guess what? They're complaining to the company, oh, that sucked. And you're like, did it? Like, that was awesome, but still, I get it. So, I mean, that to me is the hardest part right now. That and like, I think a lot of the companies out there right now are building these with no experience in recruiting. Like our whole team is recruiters. Like we've been doing it and we quite literally built it to solve our own recruiting problem for our own customers. And I think that goes a long ways. Like the nuance of recruiting and like what are the hard parts and what are the change management parts. Like we spend so much time coaching recruiters how to use this, which it's the easiest product ever to use, but it's very different from how you would do it, a typical interview. And so for us, it's all about education. So we spend a lot of time with our teams, getting them up and running, tons of re-education, and then just making sure the damn thing works all the time is hard.
Well, I mean, that's an important point about the evolution. You're right. Same thing. I hear about different AI recruiting companies or solutions all the time, but usually I hear about them because they're like, but we're not HR people. So we want to know, like, can you tell us, will people like this? Will people use it? How do an enterprise accept it? But you built it to use for yourselves. Yeah. So it's natural that it's already got all that knowledge, wisdom of recruiting built in.
Yeah. I mean, there's 10 decent ones out there, and 1,000 others. Every single time someone's like, oh, how do you compare to this? I'm like, you know what you should do? Pick like 3 of us, include us in there, go run like a month pilot with all of them. And then come back to me and you'll know very clearly when you think about candidate experience, recruiter experience, and then just the infrastructure uptime, there will be very, very clear differences and which one you want to do.
Yeah.
They all demo good. Like you can jump on and like do a demo with any of these. You're like, that was sick. I don't know the difference between that and this. You got to pilot them, see if they're going to work for you and see if the use case is right.
Well, I think also importantly, you're not trying to do everything, right?
That's the big thing.
It's not sourcing. It's not. Tell me a little bit more about like that carving out that niche.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's kind of the opposite of what you would think about when you're building a platform. You're like, I want to eat up as many point solutions as possible and just sell this big platform that does all this stuff. The reality is like, that's really hard. And like companies have 2 buckets of money. They have in TA, right? Outside of like the recruiter headcount is I've got my sourcing bucket for my job boards. And then I've got my ATS bucket.
Yeah.
And then I don't really have a lot of money for other things. One of those 2, like they got to pull from those buckets. And so if you're like, oh, we're going to kind of do some sourcing, some assessments, maybe we're going to do some like candidate matching and all this stuff. It's like, okay, well, what bucket am I pulling from for that? And it's usually going to be a pretty big price tag, right? For us, we're like, hey, this is a great way to offset all your recruiter costs. In reality, it's probably going to come from recruiter headcount. I'm not encouraging you to go like, let a bunch of recruiters go, but hey, if you've got 25 recruiters on your team and one of them turns out because they go to a different company on their own, maybe you don't need to backfill them. And guess what? You've just covered all of the interviews for all 25 interviews for the next 25 people for the whole next year.
With a huge, consistent 24/7 resource that makes your other recruiters that you have left, it makes the rest of their job a lot easier, right? They're not doing that frontline screening.
I mean, we're getting to the point. We're on the verge right now where like it's still manageable volume if you like brute force it with recruiters. Like ask any recruiter for any job they post, they're getting probably 5 to 10x applicants than they used to get.
Absolutely.
You can still maybe get through that. Like we're getting a lot of teams that are like slightly still resistant. No, I can do it the old way. I can do it the old way. Give this a year.
Yeah.
That's going to double again or triple again. And then there's no chance. You're like, people are just going to give up.
Because it's getting easier on their end too. They've got an easy button to apply to 100 jobs.
Dude, I was just talking to somebody out here. I stumbled across this website called Lazy Apply the other day. So it's $1,000 a year, plug for them. $1,000 a year on the candidate side. They will apply to 1,500 jobs a day for you for a year.
1,500 jobs
That's
a
day. That's like 500,000 jobs they will apply for $1,000. And I'm like, okay, what's a recruiter going to do with that? Like, me personally, if I just got 1,500 job applications out there, you don't know what any of them are. You kind of set your parameters and then it sends them out. You get an invite to it and you're like, then read the job description. You're like, I don't want that job. And you like move on. But like the recruiter doesn't know. They have to spend all the time finding your resume. They look through it. They call, You
got to give them the tech to make that easy, make it a lot
brutal.
more digestible.
And it's about trying to get to your top 10 or 20% as fast as you can, right? And then you turn them over to the people and your recruiters spend all their time trying to figure out, okay, are they a good fit culturally? Are they going to get along with the team? Do I like their personality? Whatever from there. But like, it's just trying to get to, okay, these 10% can clearly do the job. Now I got to see if they're a good fit for my company.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So what's on the horizon? Like, what do you get excited about that's down the path as this gets more traction? And what else is going on that you're just super thrilled about?
I think big thing for me is just like it's funny. We just keep trying to solve our own problems and then realize we kind of like have products that might be good for other people, which is exactly how AIR was born. We've got, we've now started working with a lot of the staffing firms out here. Just kind of an easy in with AIR. They realize, oh, this agent, everybody's talking about agents. It's like, this one actually does help. And then it kind of opens up well, what else could you guys help with? And so where we've been going down is the rabbit hole of, okay, what on the back office side that's like not so front and center for candidates, but what kind of workflow automation can we be doing? Sure. And we were competitive with all the staffing firms up until about a year and a half ago, right? Now I'm selling to them with this product. And we've just uncovered what a mess the back end is, not only for staffing, but for so many of these teams that are just moving data, time cards, invoices, whatever from system to system. And we're now working on a number of different products that I think will help a lot of that. And what I like is we've dog fooded this with our own team. We basically went out and said, hey, what's all the shit you guys hate doing? Yeah. Like, and every time it's admin work. I don't like, you ask the sales team, they're like, I don't like doing these 15 admin things I have to do every day. It's like, cool.
Just like scheduling.
What can we automate here?
Tools, but it absorbs so much time.
So I'm hoping you can get people out of doing the things that they hate doing.
Yeah.
Who knows? Right now it's creating probably more noise in the system with all these bots flying at each other.
Yeah, they're all talking to each other.
They're all talking to each other. So you're just trying to figure out how do you make the bots talk to each other in the right way that you actually get to an answer that then you can get the people talking to each other. So I don't know.
Well, that's cool. So anybody listening to this, how do they learn more about AIR, about Braintrust, about you? Yeah,
hit me up, Grady Gardner on LinkedIn or just braintrust.com.
Great.
We do love to get you a demo, try them out. Anyone who hasn't done an AI interview yet, like a real one, that actually talks with you and it's not like some voice recording bullshit, but you should do one. They got all over our website and they're super fun.
Good. All right. Get out there, meet AIR, and thanks for watching.